Carlinkit makes some very interesting products. I have an Android box, which will turn any vehicle's touchscreen into a tablet. Hello and welcome back, it's V, let's get started. I have an Android box which was sent to me from Carlinkit. There are about 5 or 6 different models from 2GB of RAM all the way up to 8GB of RAM, with it especially being Android. Pick up the most expensive one with 8GB of RAM. It's the best bang for your buck and it really is about future proofing, so I really highly recommend to pick up this model. I will list that down below just because Android can be a resource hog. On top of that, the processor inside of this Android box is kind of mid-range. You really should have all the resources needed in order to take advantage of this product. Besides all that, you do get the instructions inside of the box. They do toss you 2 cables, USB Type A and USB Type C, depending on the input for the vehicle. Very few cars have USB Type C inputs. Some have Type A, some have Type C. It really depends on the vehicle's interface. You only get the unit itself. It does come in like a deep purple. There are air vents on the bottom for heat separation, because these types of products do tend to get warm. Because if you have good airflow, it will not throttle the processor, so it will not slow down. If you are like me and you do like some good sci-fi dramas with a wonderful cast of characters which spans over a dozen books, X-Force by Craig Allison is a series to really check out. Pre-order now for book 16, which does drop in December. Right now with my promo code, you can get 2 free audiobooks, 30 days for free, and after the free trial, it's $14.95 a month. You can cancel at any time. Re-listening with Skippy and Joe is such a wild ride. This series is one worth checking out. Compared to the 5.0 to Air, that does load significantly faster. That particular model, it only offers wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. It does not give your vehicle's media touchscreen real Android compared to the Android box I have. If you are looking for a simple plug-and-play device, the Carlinkit 5.0 to Air, hands down, is the best wireless device for any iPhone or Android out there. It connects fairly quick. It's pretty seamless. It's only really dropped a connection on me once or twice. Carlinkit 5.0 to Air, hands down, is the best simple plug-and-play solution. You really have to tinker with the Android box to really get it to work properly. Overall, it works pretty good. This will work with anything that offers wired Android Auto and wired CarPlay. Once you plug it in, it is based off Carlinkit 3.0 and not the newer 5.0. There is a little bit more lag while playing media. When it does start up, this thing does come up as CarPlay, but it's not. It is a skinned version of Android 13, which is an amalgamation. It looks like a poor man's iOS, but it is full-fledged Android 13. But it comes up as CarPlay. I think it comes up like that because it tricks a vehicle into thinking it's CarPlay. You do have a floating button for shortcuts. You have home, you have backspace, you have multitasking, you have Google search. The rocket is RAM boost. The shortcut on the right will take you back to your vehicle's original home screen. On the main home screen, on the left is Google Maps. On top is media controls for whatever is playing, and the 4 icons on the bottom right corner are the 4 last open applications. This Android box will also offer wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. You do have that option, but it is based off the older Carlinkit 3.0, so it will be a little bit slower. Everything will work just fine when you use wireless Android Auto or wireless CarPlay. You do have to have your phone connected to it over Bluetooth and Wi-Fi in order to use wireless CarPlay or Android Auto with the Android box. You don't have to be tethered to your phone. It is its own standalone unit. You do have an app. You can sideload different applications to this with a micro SD card. You do have the full array of Android applications with this. Right now, I am just hotspotting from my phone. You do have the normal full-size Chrome that does come with Android. You do have the native full-size Chrome browser from Android. Fun fact, if you wanted a separate phone number for phone calls, texting, or data, you have that option here. If you did have a SIM card, most streaming services will work with this. YouTube is built in, so that will work. Honestly, the resolution will really vary from touchscreen to touchscreen depending on the car. My touchscreen and my Honda Civic is WVGA, so it's 480 by 840 with a 7-inch touchscreen. The PPI, the pixels per inch, I believe is about 80, so the resolution is fairly poor. So the maximum resolution for YouTube would max out around 360p. It's really not that great. Other vehicles' touchscreens might be a higher resolution, but mine is pretty poor. Even with Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, the resolution of the video is really dependent on the hardware for your vehicle's touchscreen. The resolution for my vehicle's touchscreen is roughly about 480 by 840. It is WVGA, so the resolution for any streaming service like Netflix, Hulu would be really poor, and you can easily see the pixels. When you do download any application from the Play Store, you do have this cool border that shows the download progress on the outside of any application. It does add some extra value to it. Overall, the games do run pretty smoothly. I really haven't noticed much in the way of a slowdown, but I mean, Among Us works just fine. The other games I have downloaded, they do work pretty good overall. Stick with the model with 8 gigabytes of RAM. I believe this has Bluetooth 5.1 or 5.2. Anything with Bluetooth should theoretically work with this, from microphones, game controllers, keyboards, trackpads, and mice. So I do have the iClever BK08. I also downloaded Google Docs. I could write out reports for school or work on my vehicle's touchscreen. Personally, myself, I do prefer the Carlinkit 5.0. I'm more of a fan of a plug-and-play device, but even the Android box here is quite unique. I've really had a lot of fun tinkering with this device. The possibilities of this thing is endless. It's a very niche product. It is a little bit expensive, but at the same time, you have full-fledged Android on your vehicle's touchscreen. Most auto manufacturers, their UIs really do suck for most vehicles, and even with Android Auto or CarPlay, you are really limited to what you can do with your vehicle's touchscreen. With this Android box, you can really do pretty much about anything. It is very unique, and if you really want full-fledged Android on your vehicle's touchscreen, this is the device to get. So this is one Android box I do recommend. So like always, it's V, stay classy.